I might figure out how to hook that thing up. So I got it. Let's see if I can get this thing set up here. It is freezing in my house right now. Dude, this is ridiculous. That does look good though. Ooh, spider webs. I don't come to this part of the house very often, but it's the, I don't know, it's the part of the house that I feel like is the most filmable. It's the farthest away from the fireplace too. Well, here we are. 2025 is trying something new. I started a podcast. More Than One Way to Play is the title of it all. That's why I got the little thing at the beginning. I figured after a few years of me cooking breakfast and people watching me eat on camera, I might limit it to slurping coffee. Got the old laptop here ready to go. So the folded bucket. That's this. We're gonna talk about that. Folded bucket. This shit is ridiculous. Have you seen the videos from California? It's all burning down. The videos of people freaking out because the firemen are using women's purses to put fires out. The folded bucket. Foldable bucket. What a concept. Even says bucket on it. Holds 12 liters of water from these nice little straps. Now, I'm not a fireman, but I'm pretty sure if I had to choose between a folded bucket and taking a piss on something, I'd probably be better off taking a piss on it. The only thing a folded bucket's good for, are you ready for this? Is if you sell folded buckets, or folding buckets, they're good for that. And if you have to like carry your bucket a really long ways and you don't have a lot of space, like hiking. But I'm watching these firemen carry folding buckets and try to throw water. Like, I got some bad news for you. There's no leverage. You don't have a leverage point on it. That's a bucket. Bucket's got a metal handle with a rotatable grip. You can grab the lip on the bottom. Sorry, this is a dirty old bucket. You can actually chuck water with a real bucket. It's a real thing. They used to have things called bucket brigades. That's when you get a bunch of people standing about an arm's length away and you hand a bucket of water to the next guy and they would hand it off, and then chuck a bucket. And the guy on the end, he was the dude with the best aim. And now they're running around with these things trying to put fire. It's like, dude, what is your cousin sell folding buckets? Like, oh, dude, I swear to God. Is not look. Oh, what's up, Jeremy? Welcome to the. Let me make this. We're gonna get this down here. Look at all official. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, this isn't plugged in. Looks cool, though, huh? Anyways, I'm just casually observing that. I'm thinking. I mean, I guess a folding bucket is better than no bucket, but like, how did we get to the point? I actually saw like a dude talking about the future of LA before all this started. And he's like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to burn to the ocean because of the winds. The Santa Ana winds, they blow backwards. They go to the coast. He said one day it's just going to go and there's ain't nothing they can do to stop it. And I don't even know if this is the one because it looks like not all of it's going to burn down, but it's wild to watch, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel bad. If your house burns down, that is terrible. I knew a girl whose house burned down. She lost everything when she was a kid. She had no photos of her as a child except for like a couple that some relatives had. But like, yeah, man. I don't know. The town right next to me, like over the summer, it got flooded and everyone's house got destroyed and like nobody cared. There wasn't wall-to-wall coverage because it wasn't celebrities that got their houses flooded out. I think that one was like, it wasn't because it rained. I think it's because of like some like decisions that were made about a dam upstream or something. Like, whatever. It's pretty wild stuff. Anyways. I know that event's still happening, so I don't want to talk too bad about the people trying to save all that out there. But folding bucket. I'm trying to think, like, all the crazy, like, there's videos, like, people are putting videos out of it. You're watching, it's like, I'm watching, like, 8 people who don't look like they're up to the task trying to unfold fire hoses. And, like, I get it. Fire hoses are heavy and you can hurt your back, but, like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't think everyone can do every job. I think some jobs are for some people and some jobs are for other people. That's what I truly think. And it looks to me like they got people doing, yeah, bro, this microphone is not plugged in. Yeah, welcome to the MT1W2P podcast, my friend. More than one way to play. Cheers to you in 2025. But yeah, when the dudes, and then, like, what's worse than watching a dude try to and it was a dumpster fire, literally. The dumpster had a structure over it, and they're throwing these buckets of, they're running over with their man bags of water, and it's like, and I don't know what's worse, like, the perceived incompetence of people trying to do their job, or the actual incompetence of people who are perceiving the people doing their job being incompetent. Because, like, what are these, using women's handbags? And it's like, what do we got here? Oh, somebody just commented on it. Yep. Okay. Is this a guitar show? It can be. I mean, it's just what I do on Sundays now, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm going to be eating breakfast on camera anymore. I mean, mainly, I just don't feel like cleaning my kitchen every Sunday. It's becoming a bit of a chore. It sucks, as this room is the farthest from the fireplace, so I have to wear a winter coat in here. It's not very warm in this room. Not gonna lie. Turn it into a guitar show. Here we go. Not tuned. It just happens to be the background. But yeah, so there's people that think they're using women's bags, like they're stealing ladies' purses to put fires out. And don't get me wrong, if my shit's on fire and all you got is your wife's purse, fill that shit with water and dump it on the flames. Do that instantly. But it's just like, all the things I've been hearing is like, they cut the budget by $17 million. I mean, $1 million doesn't buy what it used to. They took the $17 million and they put it towards the space heaters do a thing. Yeah, no, I've got heaters in the room. I mean, it's hard to describe the heating situation in this house because, like, everyone I know has gas heat. I don't have gas heat. I have electric heat. And if you've ever used electric heat, it's about the same cost as just burning $100 stacks of bills. Just to get a stack of $100 bills, just light that shit on fire. It's almost the exact same amount of heat that comes off. Very simple. You just might as well burn money. Because, like, the bill isn't $200 for heat that month. It's like $500 for heat that month if you turn the electric baseboard heaters on, because shit is crazy expensive. But I do have lots of space heaters. I'm not uncomfortable, it just looks weird. I'm nice and warm. I'm not puffer jacket. Anyways, so, like, with the $17 million, they pull, I mean, to be fair, they wanted to pull $22 million, so hey, you know. And then, like, they decided to do repairs on the reservoir during fire season. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do, there's only so many days out of the year, you gotta do it sometime. What was the other one? I guess they sent a bunch of stuff over to the Ukraine, which is, you know, it's good for them to have good firefighting capabilities. I mean, I don't know if they could have used some of those resources in the LA to put some of the fires out. The crazy shit is that wind. I mean, I saw a video this morning. It was like and I have to caveat all this. I don't know what I'm seeing anymore, if it's AI generated or what it is, but, like, It was like a video of like a McDonald's sign, and the winds were blowing about 60 miles an hour, and it looked like an apocalyptic hellscape with the fucking the embers coming off the palm trees, like laterally. Looked like the emperor was there shooting fire bolts or whatever. Shit's wild. Yeah. Yep. Internet rumor says there should be an earthquake out there just to top it all off. I mean, just how else could it possibly be, right? What else could you do? But yeah, I just keep seeing this video of these poor firemen using buckets of water. It's just wild. Like, I think sometimes the internet it skews people's impressions of things, because like one poorly thought out question on the internet could turn into people thinking that everyone is maybe that dumb or that ill-informed. Like, you know, it's just weird. It's kind of always been that way. Like, if you ever met somebody from a country that you've never been to, like, I don't know, pick your favorite country you've never been to, but you met somebody from there, you kind of form a picture in your head based on your experience with that one person, how all the people in that country, which is not completely accurate, but that's how it is. So, like, if you meet somebody from, I don't know, Colombia, and they're a nice person, you probably got an idea that people from Colombia are pretty nice. If you met somebody from, I don't know, France, and they were an asshole, you probably thought people from France are assholes. Anyways, you go on the internet, you read one person's question, you think people are stupid because they were stupid questions. But one of the ones I was reading that just blows my mind, and it came from when North Carolina got, kind of scrubbed there, the old hurricane, flash flood, mountain stream situation, was, do I have to pay my mortgage if my house got scrubbed off the earth? And it's like, really? Is there people that really don't know the answer to that? And they have to ask that question online in a forum where people can read it forever? Well, the answer is yes. You also have to pay your property taxes if your house doesn't exist. I mean, the property tax things is a lot of it's based on you're paying your property taxes are usually like billed behind a year or whatever, but like, hey man, they're still coming for you. It's just like, so there's something to be said. It's safe to mention. Yeah, I haven't checked it. Well, so on the conspiracies, let's dive into the conspiracies. The other one that I'm seeing online that just makes my brain hurt is the people that are like, is this normal for a tree to still have leaves and not be burned to the ground right next to a house that's burned to the ground? And I'm like, well, tip of the hat to the person recognizing that wood framed houses are in fact made from trees. You know, it's 2025. I don't know what people know anymore. But you gotta say, come on, man. Like, a live tree is hooked to the earth with its roots, and it's alive, and it's got a very high water content in it because it's a tree that's alive. Framing timber is kiln dried. It is dry. Not the same thing. But yet somehow there's people, and I'm sure it's a very small amount of people that are this fucking goddamn stupid, but yet they're saying the things, and then people are like, yeah, because there's dumber people than the people who could form the question. Trust me, there are. And they're like, yeah, that is, now that you mentioned that is strange. Why are those trees not burned to the ground next to the, it's like, oh God, okay. I don't know, weird. It's weird. It's probably space lasers. I wonder if any of those houses in LA had blue roofs, because I heard a rumor on the internet that in Maui, if you had a blue roof, the space laser didn't burn your house down. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that. Don't ban me, bro. Did he? Yeah, I don't know, man. What's blowing my mind? Because like, I don't spend a lot of time in California. In fact, I've only been to California once in my life, and it was literally I went to the state line, got out of a car, walked across the state line, said, "Hey, I'm in California," and I left again because that's about as much California as I can handle. But it blows my mind that like if you've seen the pictures on the Pacific Coast Highway there, and then it's the super expensive like I don't know how to describe it. They're like shanties, but like very fancy on stilts on the water. Like that shit's crazy. Like right on a big highway, but yeah, those houses are worth like I think Paris Hilton's burned down. It was worth $11 million, and it looked like I can't even describe it. Something like a hunting shack that had really nice stucco or something, like 3-story hunting shack. Anyways, that's wild shit. But I mean, I don't know. I know the world's different than what I thought it was when I was growing up. But like I'm pretty sure if you can smell the water from the ocean, you can be tsunami'd. Pretty sure about that. That's how that works. And why would you put something that fancy where you could get tsunami'd, let alone have your house burned down? That's the other one I can't figure out. How can you afford a house that expensive and not have a system set up where you could pull the water out of the ocean, which is literally 17 feet from your door, to put your house fire out? Like, I mean, I'm an expert in anything apparently, but like I'm 99% sure the reason your house burns down when there's a fire around typically is your roof catches on fire. So if you live in a fire-prone area, good practice is metal roof. You put a metal roof on your house is far, far less likely to burn down. The other thing you could do is put a cement siding on the side of your house too. That will be far, far, far less likely to catch on fire. And if you're worried about your house burning down, what you got to do is you got to put a sprinkler up on your roof to dampen the surface. So when the embers land on your roof, if you don't have a metal roof, it will not ignite and burn down. And what the problem with that is, a lot of times the water pressure gets low, and you don't have access, and you got to evacuate, blah, 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 all these things. But the ocean's right there, dude. Just throw a goddamn thing out there with a pump, with a little sprinkler running, you wouldn't. But then, easy come, easy go, I guess, if you can afford a house like that. I'm trying to think of another crazy thing that's happening. Like Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan while his house was burning down. Like that shit's wild to think about. He kind of knew it was happening too and did the interview anyways, which is like, whoa, that's intense. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure my insurance premiums are going up for reasons that I don't understand, but I'm sure they are because some people that run a state far, far from where I live made some great decisions and some terrible shit's happening. It's not over out there either, too. I don't think it's over. Like, I think that shit's still, like, raging. Good old Harbor Freight pump and a generator. Yes, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to describe it in life. I mean, I know people have different aspirations, but, like, if I was in the market for, like, an $11 million piece of property on the ocean, maybe I'd buy an $8 million one and, like, $400 worth of shit to keep it from burning down. I don't know. I was just like, I don't have those problems about $11 million properties on the ocean, though. I mean, but people do. I mean, in the part of the world that I live in, there's people, and this, God bless them. God bless them. They'll build houses that are, for the region, very expensive in in spots where the river goes, like on things called oxbow lakes. An oxbow lake, if you don't know, where a river meanders, and one of the meanders is like, oops, big flood, and gets cut off, and that little horseshoe stays there. That's called an oxbow lake. Well, the river's been there once. It could come back. But hold on a second. Yeah, okay, so I should probably read this shit out loud because sorry, I keep forgetting I'm doing a podcast. So, comment. I bought 2 water pumps from them recently, referring to Harbor Freight, and I actually had people at work laugh and wonder what I could possibly want with water transfer pumps for, or what I want for. I got on the safe, but imagine needing them. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. No, that's a real thing. I mean, the big deal with the water transfer pump is you got to have water to transfer. But when you live by the ocean, it's not quite an unlimited supply, but it's very close to unlimited. Like, more than a human could ever use. You couldn't suck all the water out of the ocean. I'm just saying. Now, if you live up the hill, like, I mean, I got a creek down the way. I'd struggle to get water from down there, because like when it comes to water transfer, a very important thing is called head pressure. A pump can only elevate water so high, that's its head pressure, and at that point, good luck. Because like I used to do rainwater barrels to my garden, which is elevated above, and the first pump that I got didn't have enough head pressure, couldn't get the water all the way up there. It's like, no, sorry, not that high. I could go, I think the first one I bought, it would go like 5 feet short of my holding tank up there, and it was like you go up to the garden, you could water the garden with it, but if you went that extra little bit up, it was like, womp womp, it just, nothing. So I had to go buy a bigger one. Yeah. Struggle girl. I've always thought about like, I shouldn't say this on video, I always thought about like trenching across that gravel road and running a pipe down there and then pulling water out of that creek. To get rid of, yeah, no, getting rid of water is, that's a whole other problem. I mean, famously, you live on a hill, you're never going to get flooded. Well, I got some news for you. You can get flooded on top of a hill. I've seen it happen quite a bit, actually. Yeah. That shit is wild. I just can't imagine. Someone was saying that like a bunch of the people that were like very professional in the realm of fighting fires in that area no longer have that job due to the policies that were put in place with medical treatment for flattening the curve. I don't want to get thrown off the internet. They were given the option of keep your job or have a medical procedure done. And they were like, no thanks, I'm not interested. So like that's another thing that people are pointing out is like they have to fill those positions. And I think that's why like on some of those videos you're seeing like 8 what appear to be, from my untrained eye, females trying to wrestle an empty water hose. I mean, at least someone's moving the hoses, but it's just like, what is, like, that can't, I don't know what the word for it is. I don't deal with a lot of group things and like activities that involve people who are absolutely unqualified. I don't do that in my life. I don't participate in that shit. I have a little bit. It always just blows my mind that the people that it's like, dude, you should be watching a movie or you should be, I don't know, doing something else other than this because you don't know what you're doing. And then, but they're still participating. It's like, I'm helping. And they're like, just holding a thing. It's like, but you could just go get a chair and a snack and like the exact same amount of what we're doing is going to happen. That's all going to still happen, but you just won't be like in the way. Like, that's just wild. Oh shit. Yeah. How's that working out? Says my daughter lives in LA and work is closed for a few days because of the fires. Now work is back open, but nobody's going to the diner. Yeah. Well, like, dude, like thousands of houses burnt down. Like 1,000 houses. That's a lot of houses. And what's really interesting about LA, like, you know, the first 3 rules of real estate, you know, are location, 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 right? So if you're looking at some of these neighborhoods, now some of them are like, you know, like, well, I talked about Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's house was a big fancy house. I've never seen it. I just know it is. But a lot of those houses are like what you're used to looking at in the neighborhoods that you grew up around. But it's just like, because of the dirt the house is sitting on, it's an $8 million house. It's not a mansion. It's not fancy. It's just a regular person's house, but it just happens to be right in the spot where it's super valuable. So it's like, how does that work? You know, what's like, I always think about like, what's the advantage of someone like torching a whole area? Like, what are they going to do? And some people are all high density housing because like, you know, all these regular people houses are just single family. We could stick, you know, 5 or 6 Guatemalans or whatever. I mean, I have no idea. It's just like, but the notes still do. Like an $8 million house still costs $8 million, even though it's a $200,000 pile of wood on a, you know, $7.75 million piece of ground type of deal. Yeah, I forgot your daughter lives up there. That's crazy. Some of those videos are nuts, though. It's just like, what? But while California's burning down, haven't heard much about the drones lately, except for I heard the drones are at the fires in California. Have you guys heard about that? I got stuck to my arm here. I just saw something. What is this? This one. No. Am I seeing things? The video is delayed. Oh yeah, it was a sticker. I had a sticker stuck to me. Yeah, there's a video of a drone flying around, man. There's a drone in California. Oh, the drones. I wonder if the smoke smells funny, because I heard there was fog that smelled funny. I mean, whatever. What are you gonna do? Adjust that microphone. Put the mic right in your mouth. Testes. Is this thing on? Something's loose. Why are you so loose? Ain't right. Does it need a spin? Sorry. Righty tighty. There we go. Anyways, I mean, that's just like the latest crazy shit. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Usually I'm cooking like breakfast and being occupied by that, so now it's just me jabbing. I should probably take notes or something. So, I can't just talk about how much I wish I lived in California, because, like, no, I wouldn't. No, thank you. But, my beard's all crooked. I don't know. Talk about the crazy shit that happened this week. God. What did I see this week? Sitting at a stoplight, turning left with a green arrow, and from my left, going across the intersection in front of me, my light turned green, and if I was a dude that just like, my light's green, I'm just going to pull out of traffic. This is what would have happened to me. I'm sitting there, I get a green arrow, I look to my left because that's the way I drive, and an 18-wheeler hauling fuel, like for your car, comes blazing down the highway at 50 miles an hour, and like almost, I mean, I'm surprised the tires didn't go, "Arr!" But he whipped a left turn to go up to get on the bypass. In a situation where I had a green arrow for long enough that I could have pulled out right in front of that dude. He's just like, fuck it, I'm late. But hauling gas, like a 18, like, you know, the silver ones, the aluminums or whatever, like, I'm just like, I thought you had to take a special test and not be an absolute bag of shit to drive a fuel truck. But apparently, no, that's not a problem anymore. They're hiring. Just like, God almighty. I'm not sure if I would have died from getting T-boned or in the ensuing inferno of burning fuel, but, you know, I dodged that bullet. God almighty. Anyways, what else is going on that's just like flabbergasting? Just like makes your eyes roll in the back of your head and you think, what? Like, how are we going to continue? Like, I did see a video of one of them firefighting airplanes coming down, and never flown a plane, never dropped firefighting fluids out of a plane. I'm sure there's a learning curve, but this was chems. I don't think it was water, it was chems. And he aced a firefighter out so hard. That dude's probably got, I don't know, eyeball cancer now, or I don't even know how that works, but like, this dude just got 300% hit, like, by the firefighting chemical dropping airplane. Just like, whoa. And it wasn't even that, it was like, the dude was here, his truck was there, and then the thing, so he got hit by the plane, and then like it probably bounced off the truck and hit him back the other way. Like, he probably had firefighting chemicals inside of his asshole via his nostrils, if I had to guess. I mean, it was just like, whoa, dude, like, oops. I'm trying to think. Like, I've heard people proclaiming that certain people are responsible who are not in any positions of current power. I've heard people saying that people holding current power are not responsible. I've heard people say that the current powers are going to pay for it all. I've heard people say that the local municipalities, that state government has taken the position that rather than them using state funds to pre-manage any of this shit, they're just going to let it go and then get federal funds to fix it. Which is wild. You see the video of the lady that runs LA when she was on vacation over in, she was someplace celebrating the election of the first female president of that country while LA was burning. A reporter was there like covering it and started asking her questions. Well, so that's interesting. Like there was people talking about that. So like that happened a little bit ago, but I heard that they waved their magic wand just shortly before the fires and decreed that they couldn't do that. So like maybe there is, but like I don't really know. I mean, it's like I wouldn't want to have to go around and around with an insurance company over whether or not you were covered, because I'm sure there's some fine print about what a fire is and who starts the fire, and whether or not it was your neighbor's house that lit your fire on or whether it was a wildfire, because depending on how the verbiage on your contract is, it's going to be the opposite. So if your contract says naturally occurring fires are not covered, your house was burned by a naturally occurring fire. If your contract says naturally occurring fires are covered, but property adjacent to yours causing damage to yours is not covered, that's what it's going to be. Like, I got terrible news about the whole insurance thing. It ain't going to work out for you. It never does. I mean, in a roundabout way a little bit, but for essentially, no, it's not going to work out because, like, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, I've heard of fires breaking loose before flooding situations that are like, oh, the flood's coming. Because if your house gets flooded, you're SOL, but if your house burns, it can be good. I mean, I'm not an insurance guy, but I knew a guy who his job was to represent homeowners against the insurance company in the form of what's called a public adjuster, which is a wild, I mean, you want to go down a rabbit hole, read up on public adjusting, because that is the fact that there is a occupation called public adjusting is wild. Because all that is an insurance adjuster who's on your side, as opposed to the insurance adjuster who's not on your side, even though you pay them to be on your side. No, the insurance adjuster's on the insurance side there to screw you out of every single penny they can get to the maximum of your policy. And a public adjuster is there to maximize your claim based on your contract up into your max policy if you have enough things to get. And typically in a total loss situation, it's not that hard to get to your max cap policy because most people don't carry a policy big enough to cover all their shit just because it's super expensive. So yeah, that's wild. Some of the stories he used to tell me. I think one of the craziest ones he ever told me was he had a client, so it's not quite ambulance chasing, but it's close. So like you hear about a fire, they'd show up, explain the whole thing, and basically the way he did his deal was he would take, the insurance company would say, hey, let me throw some numbers out. You have a $500,000 policy. You lost your house. The insurance company said you've got $200,000 worth of losses. He'd come in and say, well, your policy's $500,000. I'm looking around. You got a lot of stuff. We could probably find $500,000 worth of items here. And they'd go through and itemize all of the shit left over in your burnt house until you reach the $500,000. He said, and then they take a percentage of that increase over what the insurance company was going to pay you. After a while, some insurance companies just stop because they have to fight it and all that. So it's crazy. But he had a client who was insured. His house burned down. The guy was kind of rough looking. The news showed up. He was distraught on camera. It was a bad deal. Lost his house. He had pets inside. Was crying. They started taking public donations for this guy. And the public just gave him money because they felt so bad for him because he lost everything. Lost his pets and all this shit. And he had insurance. Just God almighty, dude. And then I'm sure there's people who don't look like they need help, who didn't lose their pet but lost all their shit, who don't have insurance and they get zero. I don't know. I keep telling myself I'm just going to start self-insuring, but that's not responsible. I just like, every time I write a goddamn insurance check, it just makes my blood boil. And then they just screw you over. Whatever. I mean, insurance, yeah. Anyways, that's going to make me start saying a bunch of cuss words that I don't want to say any more than I already am saying. But, yeah, could imagine just like watching it all burn down like that. It's kind of odd, like, cause like that's all happening right now. And I just started reading, when I say reading, books on tape, a series by Gibbon, written in like when did we write this series? 1770 something, into it took like 20 years. The fall of the Roman Empire. Like, oh wow, that's some interesting reading there. Reading about that. And some of the shit that went down during the fall of Rome, the Roman Empire, over the few hundred years there. Some of the things I didn't realize was, like, after they sacked Rome, like the barbarians sacked Rome, 7 days of just terrible, just like robbing and looting and burning and murdering, and then they just loaded their shit with all the treasure and left. Well, that wasn't the end of it, because as soon as they left, then a civil war breaks out, and people form factions and just start murdering and like getting revenge, and just like, holy shit. That was like, the sacking of Rome wasn't the problem with Rome. It was the shit that happened after the sacking of Rome. Like, that's where the real bad shit happens. And that's what they're doing. They're looting out in LA right now. It's like, there's like, I mean, the one thing about the internet that is absolutely fascinating is like the humor aspect, which, like, I mean, it's not, I guess technically it's grave humor because there's people dying out there, but like, oh, hey, here's a video of the local neighborhood kids trying to help their neighbors out by collecting their belongings and taking them to safety. And it just shows a bunch of LA thugs just like looting people's houses, pulling TVs out and shit. And just like, dude, they're pushing, like, pretty clever, rolling cart garbage cans up to people's houses and filling the garbage cans with the shit that they want to steal, and then rolling the garbage cans away because it's on wheels. You can carry more shit. It's like, well, homeless people don't use shopping carts because they think they're awesome. It's just like, that's what's available. It's got wheels. You can move some shit in it. You know what I mean? It's just like clever. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It is just wild to watch. And it's just going to keep getting more and more interesting as more and more people who have been told they're qualified to do what they're doing learn the hard way. And I feel bad for the people who don't know what they're doing, but it's even worse for the people who are relying on the people who don't know what they're doing, because you're assuming that shit's going to get handled, and then it turns out it doesn't get handled, and then the result is exactly the result that you, I mean, yeah, that's it. There you go. Those are the people that, it's not just California, it's anywhere you live. Anywhere you live where you elect people to be in charge. If you, like, for example, if you live in America, it's a representative republic. You're electing people to represent you in these major decisions, and like the people around you are the ones who elect the people who are in charge of you. And the way it works out is exactly what you vote for. That's what you get. Like, you get nothing but what you get in life. That's it. You don't get anything different. You get exactly what you get. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. And like, I see some of that shit starting to spill into like where I live, and it's like, I mean, thank the things that are worth thanking, that like there's still people that have enough sense to be like, no, we're not playing that shit here. Like, go save the sand snails or whatever you got to save, the fish in the stream. I mean, yeah, I love me some fish. Don't get me wrong. I love fish. I love wildlife, but like, it doesn't work if it's all burnt to the crisp. Like, I just can't imagine. Like, Like, we're gonna save some endangered thing, which is important. You should save an endangered thing. It's really important. But like, the endangered things burn up too when it all burns down or whatever. It's just like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm gonna start carrying this in my car just in case I see a dumpster fire. I can grab a 12-pack of Mountain Dew and just start handing them out, and everyone can take a piss in this thing. And you fill that baby up with Mountain Dew piss and just like grab the handles and put your hand on the bottom and give a limp-wristed I mean, please tell me you've seen the video of the dudes using the women's purses. The foldable firefighting bag is just, I don't know, whatever. It's just amazing. Everything's amazing to me. I take so much for granted. I keep forgetting that no one young, apparently, and it's not their fault. Because everyone carries one of these things. You ready for this? You carry one of these little phone devices that all the answers to the world are on the device. Therefore, you don't have to know anything because the answer's right here. And I think there's a lot of, I think the term is hubris. What's this guy thanking me for? Thanks, mate. He must be Australian. I don't get any sort of stream back here. How's the Wi-Fi? Because I'm on my tablet and I'm as far from my Wi-Fi as I can get. How's the stream quality? Seems like it's okay. Whatever. What other crazy shit's happening right now? I don't know. I'm trying to block it all out. Somebody just can't. I just can't imagine. I mean, someone was like mentioning the fact that, like, hold on a second. Someone was mentioning the fact that the drones haven't gone away, but yet no one's talking about the drones anymore. You guys, are you aware of that? The drone thing's still literally happening. It's just the people who are in charge of what we're going to talk about collectively as a nation have decided we're done talking about that. We're going to talk about forest management in Southern California. Anybody know about this? I mean, whatever. The drones! Are the drones shooting space lasers, lighting everyone's house on fire? How about the catching of the dudes lighting the fires? Have you guys seen any of that shit? Like, I've seen the video of the dude riding the bicycle with a Benzomatic with the yellow canister. You know what a Benzomatic is? You press the trigger and the news is God. So I heard the report first. They caught a homeless man on a bicycle with a flamethrower. And I'm thinking, holy shit, like Guadalcanal backpack flamethrower. They're burning that thing. No, it's a Benzomatic. Just a dude. But they caught him. Then, supposedly, I had there's a channel that I watch in the morning when I'm drinking coffee. The dude's from New Zealand and just kind of does weekly recaps of just crazy shit that's going on in the world. And he was covering the stuff, and I was in the bathroom doing bathroom things, but I could hear it, and he was talking about the podcaster Huber, which I think is I don't know. I think that dude works for the CIA, maybe, but I don't know for sure, but whatever. But for a while, I was getting all his podcasts. The guy just looks at you, doesn't blink. He's just on today's episode of I'm going to tell you how the world works, and you're going to believe me because I'm a Harvard-educated strong thinker. It's just whoa! So I was no thanks. Anyways, that dude apparently caught some dudes lighting fires because he lives in the area, and he's a podcaster who's got some serious following. But he caught dudes lighting fires. Is it Andrew Huber? Is that his name? Anyways. Wild. And then you start thinking about like, what an effective way potentially to cause chaos if you were a bad actor slash foreign adversary than to have someone just go on a bicycle with a benzomatic that you can buy anywhere and do some just terrible. It's just like, what is that? But and there's no response. Like there's no ability to prevent. Like they don't have the ability in that part of the United States to stop what's happening right now. They cannot stop it. It's unstoppable. And it's like, well, that's crazy. Even though that's not like we could have never foreseen this. This is it's unforeseen. Once in a 500-year event, we could never plan for something. It's like, no, it happens like every year. Now, granted, I think the what do you call it? The situation is uniquely, terribly lining up in exactly the worst way with like precipitation, relative humidity, wind, lack of water, whatever. Extra bad dominoes are falling. But holy cow, I mean, yeah, it's wild to think about. So like, you watch any of those videos of like the drone warfare over in Ukraine, like what's happening over there, what they're doing. Started off, they're like kind of dropping mortars. They like kind of hook a mortar up to a drone with a release. They just drop it above and just like blow them up. So the solution to that is you got to put something up for the mortar to hit first, and then the detonation happens above. So like they started putting like tree logs and stuff. They're like, the mortars aren't making it through. What can we do differently? So you know what they started doing? And I've seen the video that's crazy. Thermite blasting fire, dragon's breath, just from a drone up above into the pits, and it's just like, holy Moses. Like, I'm not sure what I would prefer would be a mortar to the head, probably over thermite getting rained down on me, because like you don't like splash a little water on and put that fire out. Like you're just, holy Moses. And I've seen the video of it. It's just like, it's unreal. It's like, well, those guys figured that out. Like, I mean, I don't encourage, like, don't break the law, kids. But, like, Jesus, could you imagine? Like, that's unreal. Think about that. You could burn a whole city down with some strong winds and some dry conditions. And I'm sure there's people taking notes, man. Just like, well, there's nothing we can do. The boss is out of town. We ain't got no money. The water don't work. Just like, there's no water? What'd you do with all the water? Well, there's a frog that needs a habitat. It's like, all right, I mean, I get it. Frogs got to have habitats too. Whatever. This chair sucks that I'm sitting in. I need a better chair. Whatever. Well, we're only about a week in. About 1 week in, 12 days in. It's going to be a wild year, kids. It's going to be a wild year. I hear somebody say, it's like the unelected people who try to be in charge of everything are not happy with the way that things are going, or potentially might go, so they're going to try to do something. It's just like, oh my God. It's going to be interesting. I need to stock up on Coca-Cola so I can just sit back in a chair and just drink a Coca-Cola and watch it all happen. It's going to be ungoddamn real. It's like the nice thing about living in the middle of nowhere is like, they don't really care about us. I mean, make sure your payment makes it. That's the only thing they really care about, but they ain't stressing shit. One of the things I am truly nervous about is like, probably not all those people that lost their houses, but a good majority of those people are just going to be like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm out. There's a lot of people on the fence already about wanting to stay out there. And now, you know, unless you've already paid for your property and you take a loss like that, if you don't get insurance back, you're going to cover that nut and not live in it? Like, get real. Just declare bankruptcy and then roll out. Oh, according to my watch, it's time to stand up. So those people are going to be leaving, looking for someplace else. Don't come here, we're full. Whatever. I'm trying to think what else, like, just amazing, like, mind-boggling shit has gone down in the last 7 days. Seems like 7 days ain't enough, but it's just rolling of the eyes. I might have to try this on the laptop. I think I can plug this thing into the laptop because it's got a microphone to plug. That might be interesting. I always did the phone in the kitchen because, like, you can move it around, but I got the table here. Actually, it's supposed to be a decent mic. It's a condenser style, all acoustically suspended with a big phone. See that? I think it's pretty sweet. It's got a little dust on her. One of the benefits of heating your house with wood is you get extra dust everywhere. So yeah, we might work on that. Get some lights going. All sorts of fun stuff. 51 minutes. So I'm going to go an hour and I'm going to cut it off. Yeah, I'm going to have to take notes. Because, like, apparently eating, it takes up part of the podcast, which I'm trying not to do as much of in general, not just on video. Brave New World. Can I ask? Oh, someone's asking a question. So I'm getting, like, YouTube comments while I'm streaming. Someone wants to know about the jacket video I just put up. Can I ask you what jacket? So I'm an extra large guy. For some reason, it doesn't want to render very well. Whatever. I'm not quite sure, like, I feel like the podcast thing is just like a video, because, like, it doesn't really... Here we go. We're gonna comment live on a video. I normally wear an XL. There you go, Craig Paradise 8619. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they they push a different algorithm for the podcast stuff. I mean, basically, it was just make a playlist that turns into a podcast, I guess. Someone I game with had mentioned I should do podcasts like a year ago, and I was like, oh, I kind of do. I do live streams every week, and it's like, why can't that be a podcast as well? I don't really know what a podcast is supposed to be. I guess technically you could download this into your music and then listen to it not on YouTube, I guess. You should definitely do that. You should listen to this while you're driving around looking for homeless people on bicycles with benzene torches. Tackle them. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like the palm trees are a big problem. In the videos I've been watching, there's a lot of palm trees on fire because those fronds fall down and they catch on fire and then they blow. Is the palm tree nature's way of saying don't build too many houses this close together? It could be. Does the earth have a way to keep the extra dense housing from getting too out of hand by just burning it down? Like, sometimes I wonder about that. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy. But I'm sure there'll be something crazy next week too. Just stay tuned. There was something I was going to talk about. Oh, someone had mentioned to me that Elon Musk is going to start making TVs. Does anybody here know about this? Is this a real thing? Let's see if I can look this up. We got the internet right here. I know he's doing like an app. XTV or something like that. But someone was saying that he's actually going to make physical hardware. I want to do caps letters. And like, there's like a couple things talking about it, but I don't know if it's real. It was like a week ago. Smart TVs, shocking, but I don't know. It's like just YouTube channels talking about, but then like there's real articles like saying for like Fortune magazine, which I consider to be a real article, says X is launching a YouTube clone for smart TVs. I'm like, that seems real. And then like the New York Post, X is launching an app for smart TVs. But is he actually making TVs? It's just these YouTube Adam Tech. Like I just don't know. I mean, I know when they make like, I saw an interview with him a long time ago talking about because like on a Tesla they do the big screen in the middle, and how he was saying it was like, oh man, it'd been so much cheaper just to put iPads in there, but we can't do that. They had to like literally have the infrastructure, design, technology, the whole thing to make their own displays for their cars. And it's like, well, how hard would that be to scale up? Yeah, I think the hardware thing may be because they're like it's 8K TVs for super cheap with extra super duper nits or something. I'd buy an X TV. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just an app. I think it's just people trolling. Like the whole world's turning into a troll. The AI videos and all that crap. It's just like, geez Louise, guys. It's gonna get harder and harder to keep tabs on everything. I mean, one of the things I thought about doing was like, I used to read articles to the elderly. I haven't done that for a long time, and some of that shit was like absolutely fascinating. I'm trying to remember what that category that I was reading from. It was like, was it Today I Learned? I can't remember. Maybe that's what it was. And it was just like ungodly amounts of just random shit that I had just like never heard of in my life. Let's see if we can find a good one here. Nah, that ain't gonna be that much fun. Watching me try to read. What I probably need to do is like pull up a few good ones and then talk about them. That could be fun. So, yeah. I don't know how this disaster thing's going to work. Like, I heard that old Joe Biden said, just unlimited check, just write whatever you want and we'll take care of it. And then, like, I also heard, like, during the North Carolina thing, they were only interested in helping people with certain political views. So, like, is that still gonna happen? And then, like, how does it work after Biden leaves? Like, who has the power of the purse? Yeah, I don't know. Just maybe being in charge is harder than I think it is. It probably is. Whatever. All right, my hour is up. I'm gonna have to take some notes, find more interesting ways to convey the goings on of the week's recap of my life. Almost dying from a 18-wheeler was quite interesting, though. I guess I also had a lady who ran a yield sign, looked right at me like, what am I doing? I'm like, well, you have a yield sign. That means you're supposed to yield to me. But, it was a nice SUV, and she did have a house that she paid too much for. So I guess that means that she can just run a yield sign, and I'll have to stop for her because how else could it be in life? Oh, well. All right. we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll go back to eating food on camera from the backside of the camera. I had a YouTube video pop up that said you have to put your face on it, otherwise no one wants to watch it. No one wants to watch videos of the back of your hands, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, because a lot of my videos are the back of my hands. And I'm still getting, I don't know, 1,000 views a day. That's not too bad for a guy with a beard sitting in a room with an oil painting of a clown and a whatever the hell that thing is. A painting from Florence, of Florence or something like that is. We got the Grand Canal over there. That's what that is, the Grand Canal. Whatever. Play a little pinball. Alright. Good luck to everybody. Get your foldable water bucket in case there's a fire. Just, I can't even. Holy shit. Alright. Peace! I'm out! If I can figure out how to do this on the tablet. I haven't done this before. There it is.